You think if she's quiet, if she's moved on, if she's not calling or begging or blowing up your phone, then you're out of her life. But silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is strategy. Sometimes silence is obsession, wearing a calm face. And before we go any further, subscribe. Not because I need a number, because you need reminders. You need truth on repeat. You need someone to say what your friends won't say and what your ego keeps twisting. You don't need more entertainment. You need calibration. Here's the thesis. Here's what it really means when she's doing certain things. You're on her mind more than you realize, but not in the romantic movie way, not in the she's your soulmate way, in the psychological way, in the power and position way, in the unfinished business way. Because when a woman is truly done, she's not confusing. She's not orbiting. She's not testing. She's not accidentally showing up in your world. She disappears with a clean cut, clean, no smoke, no mirrors, no mixed signals, just absence. So if she's doing this, you're not irrelevant. You're a variable. You're a question mark. You're a threat to her certainty. You're a memory that won't stay in the past. Now let's climb the reasoning ladder because you've been stuck at the bottom, staring at the wrong signs, misreading the game, and paying for it with your peace. The misconception is simple. You think attention equals feelings. You think proximity equals love. You think a text at 11:47 p.m. means she misses you. You think a view on your story means she's longing. You think a how have you been means she wants to rebuild. That's fantasy. That's your brain trying to get dopamine out of crumbs. The hard truth is this. Attention is not commitment. Curiosity is not loyalty. Nostalgia is not a plan. And her reaching out is not automatically a door reopening. It might be a door check, a handle jiggle, a test to see if you're still where she left you. That's called control through uncertainty. And if that stings, good. It should, because the fastest way to lose your self-respect is to treat a test like a promise. So what are the signs? What does she do when you're on her mind more than you realize? She accidentally interacts. A like on an old photo, a reaction to a random story, a comment that's not a comment, just a breadcrumb, something that costs her nothing but buys her information. She's not trying to be close. She's trying to see if she still has access. She uses indirect contact. She asks about you through mutual friends. She brings you up in conversations where you're not relevant. She creates situations where your name has to be said because saying your name keeps you alive in the room. It's emotional rehearsal. She circles the perimeter. She doesn't step in, but she doesn't leave. She hovers. She watches. She keeps a foot near the door like she's waiting for a reason. She reappears when you start looking better, when you start leveling up, when you get quieter, when you stop broadcasting pain, when your energy shifts from chasing to building. That's when she gets randomly nostalgic. That's when she remembers your connection. And you call it fate. It's not fate, it's pattern recognition. She can feel the loss of influence. She tests your boundaries with small disrespect. A flirty message with no follow-through, a plan suggested but never confirmed, a we should catch up that evaporates when you respond because she's not measuring your love. She's measuring your availability. That's called a compliance test. She speaks in ambiguity, not because she's shy, not because she's confused, because ambiguity gives her leverage. If she says nothing clearly, she can deny everything later. If she hints, she can pull back. If she flirts, she can pretend it was a joke. And the reason you keep getting trapped is because you keep trying to convert ambiguity into certainty. You can't. Now let's go deeper. Why does it happen? What's the root cause? The root cause is not she's evil. The root cause is not all women are like this. Grow up. That's the lazy story. That's the bitter man's bedtime tale. The root cause is human nature mixed with modern options. People don't like losing access to something that once fed them, even if they didn't value it properly, even if they walked away, even if they said they were done, because access feels like safety, access feels like power, access feels like control over uncertainty. And if you were a man with presence, if you were a man with standards, if you were a man who made her feel something real, then you weren't just a person. You were an experience. You were emotional gravity. So even if she doesn't want the relationship, she might still want the reassurance that she could have it, that she could pull you back if she wanted, that she's still significant in your mind, that she still matters. That's not romance. That's ego preservation. And there's another layer. When you leave a situation without closure, the mind replays it. It searches for resolution. It asks, did I make the right choice? Did I lose something rare? Is he happier without me? The more you don't provide answers, the more the mind spins. That's called cognitive dissonance. Your silence becomes a mirror she can't control, and it drives people crazy because people don't fear rejection as much as they fear being irrelevant. Now, what does it cost you if you keep misreading this? It costs you your focus. You stop building. You stop lifting. You stop creating. You stop sleeping. You stop being present with your own life because you're living inside her signals. You stop moving forward because you're waiting for a sign. You stop acting like a man with options because you're acting like a man on standby. You stop leading yourself because you're letting her mood set your weather. And the worst part, you start negotiating against your own dignity. You respond too fast. You over-explain. You try to prove you're different now. You try to show her you've changed. You try to earn what used to be freely given. And every time you do that, you teach her something. You teach her that your self-respect has a price. That's called self-betrayal. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it because you need to stop confusing pain with devotion. You need to stop calling obsession love. You need to stop worshiping a woman who hasn't chosen you clearly, because masculine self-respect is simple. It's clarity, it's standards, it's a spine, it's not cold, it's not cruel, it's not performative, it's grounded. Now, reframe it, because this is where you get your power back. If she's doing these things, it doesn't mean you should chase. It means you should observe. It means you should respect the data. It means you should stop being surprised by predictable behavior. It means you have leverage not to manipulate her, but to reclaim yourself. Because the real question isn't, is she thinking about me? The real question is, what am I doing with my mind? Are you building or are you begging? Are you becoming or are you waiting? Are you leading your life or are you auditioning for hers? Now I'm going to give you the archetype because you need a picture. You need a standard. You need to know what the man looks like when he gets this right. The man who wins here isn't the man who gets her back. It's the man who gets himself back. He doesn't flinch at a breadcrumb. He doesn't light up like a starving dog when a hand shows up with a treat. He doesn't interpret attention as a contract. He doesn't build a fantasy off a notification. He's calm, not because he's numb, because he's disciplined. He has boundaries that don't require speeches. He has standards that don't require threats. He has a mission that doesn't pause because someone got nostalgic. He understands this. If she wants him, it will be clear. If she chooses him, it will be consistent. If she respects him, it will show up in behavior, not vibes. He doesn't try to be understood by someone who benefits from misunderstanding him. He doesn't chase mixed signals. He deletes the entire frequency. He is present when he's present and absent when he's absent. No hovering, no checking, no late night emotional bargaining. And because he moves like that, he becomes unforgettable. Not because he played a game, because he refused to play himself. Now let's make this actionable, not theory. Not just focus on your self-fluff. Clear imperatives. Do this. Stop this. Redirect. First, stop translating her behavior into a love story. Translate it into information. If she's watching but not showing up, that's information. If she's contacting but not committing, that's information. If she's flirting but not following through, that's information. Treat it like data, not destiny. Second, stop being instantly available. You are not customer service for her emotions. If she reaches out, you don't jump. You respond like a man with a life because you are, or you need to become one. Third, require clarity. Not with a dramatic ultimatum, with a simple standard. If she wants to see you, she can propose a real plan, a day, a time, a place. If it's vague, you stay vague. If it's inconsistent, you stay unavailable. If it's confusing, you exit. Confusion is not chemistry. Confusion is a lack of respect dressed up as mystery. Fourth, don't negotiate your boundaries at night. Late night messages are the devil's contract. When people are lonely, they reach for what's familiar. They want comfort without consequence. They want access without accountability. If she can only find you when it's quiet and dark, she doesn't want a relationship. She wants a release valve. Fifth, redirect your energy into measurable progress. Not revenge, not showing off, not let me post so she sees. No quiet progress, gym, money, skill, purpose, brotherhood, health, sleep, routine. Your life needs structure, so her chaos can't rent space in your head. Sixth, if she comes back with real effort, consistent effort, then you evaluate from a position of strength, not hunger, not nostalgia, strength. And if the price of having her is losing your self-respect, the deal is bad every time. Now, I need you to hear this part clean. You don't need her to be obsessed with you. You need you to be committed to you. Because even if she is thinking about you, that's not your job. That's not your responsibility. That's not your identity. Your identity is what you do when no one is watching. Your identity is the standard you keep when attention is offered. Your identity is whether you choose clarity over craving. Let me ask you something. Why do you want to be on her mind so bad? So you can feel chosen, so you can feel valuable, so you can feel like you won after feeling discarded. That's not strength. That's a wound looking for a bandage. And if you keep letting her attention patch your self-worth, you'll stay addicted to the same cycle forever. Different woman, same pattern, different face, same hunger. That's called emotional dependency. Kill it.